Hey Danny, how you doing, man?
Watson, come here. I need you. Watson, come here. I need you.
That was stunning.
There you go. There you go.
Well,
That's
sorry. What was the choking part of that? Did that factor into the phone calls at any point?
No, it's just because that was me. That was my own little spin on it. It's like that was.
I like there are some people out there doing reboots of things like Star Wars or doing a Star Trek reboot and making it interesting, but no, Danny's just rebooting old episodes of Doctor Who and then choking after he does each of the lines.
I'm not even rebooting old episodes of Doctor Who. I'm just like doing one-liners, pretty obscure one-liners from episodes, and people will be like, "What the fuck are you talking about? What's that from?" Oh, it's from
Even if you were doing slightly more famous ones like Rose Tyler, then at least people would know what you were talking about. But instead, it's obscure ones.
Yeah.
You got any other obscure ones you're doing? That is the most intimate gift.
Yeah. Or Linda with a Y. That's in an upcoming
Linda with a Y.
episode.
It is an upcoming episode, yeah.
So
What's
tune
the
in.
next episode? Is it the World War II one?
No. That's the Bad Wolf, I think. So tune in for that one.
Oh yeah, the next one's World War II one, The Empty Child.
Yeah, that's right.
Super fucking.
But let's do this one first.
Yes, let's do this one first. Well, good job. This is a cheery one in which Rose watches her father die.
Yeah.
Have we got some credits or some bits and bobs of anything?
We do. This episode is called Father's Day. Nice. And it was written by Paul Cornell. It was directed by Joe Ahern, and it is starring Christopher Eccleston, Billy Piper, Camille Kaduri, and Sean Dingwall.
Yes,
Wow.
it is indeed starring these people.
Got through that pretty nicely, didn't I?
Yeah, I'm impressed. Nice one.
Fucking hell. Do you have an opening
Reward
statement?
yourself with a chocolate digestive. But yes, I do have an opening statement.
Oh, I completely interrupted you there. Yeah, I will get a chocolate digestive, and I will eat it without chewing it.
Just inhale an entire... Right, it's easy to fit an entire chocolate digestive into your mouth. I feel it's difficult to go from that stage to chewing and eating it.
I mean, yeah, because you look as if you've had a discus trapped in your face. But
You go to a very strange type of Olympics, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, this stands as a classic sci-fi, almost Black Mirror type story. What would you do if you had that much power? Probably make a mistake, like the rest of us would.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks, guys.
A strong bit of characterization for Rose, coupled with an expanse of the lore, and the introduction of a one-off villain that was so imaginative. See, I got the credits right, but I fucked up the opening statement, didn't I?
I think it scans. You're okay.
I got a wee hesitation there. I hesitated when I said hesitation. Fuck. But anyway,
I think you're right about these villains. I don't think of the Reapers. Is that what they're called or something?
the Reapers, but they're never called that in the episode. That's just what they're sort of coined as after the episode's done.
But they are a fascinating villain. The idea of these beings that feed off of alternate timelines, sort of thing. It's like that is a really interesting idea. And the Time Lords had enabled laws and time walls and time ring fences and whatever to resolve this problem.
Yeah.
And now it's a problem the Doctor has to deal with.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I like that. That's good.
So do I. Creepy room questions?
Yeah. Good job. This is a cheery one.
Yes.
We've gone through quite a few episodes of Doctor Who in a row that aren't very cheery. We had the episode last week where we realised, none of these are particularly cheery. We'll get to a cheery one eventually, I'm sure.
Yeah, maybe the one. I'm trying to think because the next one's set in World War II and it's about dead children coming back to life.
Yeah.
The one after that is about the Doctor having a meal with a serial killer before taking them back to their home planet to be boiled alive in soup.
Oh, lovely.
And the last two are the ones where basically every fucker dies and Rose becomes a god for 2 minutes. So
yeah, well, on the plus side, then David Tennant shows up, and
Yeah.
I do love David Tennant.
That's a pretty cheery Christmas episode.
It's pretty cheery, yeah.
Yeah, so we'll hold out for that.
Yeah, we will. Come on, guys, can we get through the depressing episodes?
First in the season.
Yeah, first in the season is the cheery one, and the rest is sad. But I mean, I'm saying this. This was sort of the aesthetic of this era of Doctor Who.
Yeah.
It was like a sort of a horror thriller in a way.
Yeah, I agree.
But anyway, yeah, I've got one observation actually.
Go on.
That point at which Rose and the Doctor stood on the side of the road watching Pete Tyler die. There's a poster behind them for a newspaper called The Socialist Worker, and I think that sounds like my kind of newspaper.
Jesus Christ. Well, it's set in 1987, isn't it? So
Yeah, so Thatcher time.
yeah.
Whoa,
No
Thatcher.
other references needed. Thatcher time.
Yes, it was the Thatcher period.
It was the Thatcher time.
Right. If you were the Doctor, I think I would either find some mumbo jumbo to explain to Rose that we could not go back in time and see her father die, or
Yeah.
I'd say, look, I'm happy to do this, but it's a really, really bad idea. We
Yeah.
can only do it once. It doesn't matter how many times you want to do it again. We can only do it once. There's a lot riding on it. Do you know what I mean? This feels like the prime situation to come up with some mumbo jumbo, something weird, just to sort of say to Rose, okay,
Yeah.
look, this is kind of really high stakes here. You fuck this up, the entire planet will die.
Or
And then
even
she fucks it up.
like after she's seen him die. Like you were saying, tell her way beforehand that we can only do this once. So if you're gonna do this, you need to do it now. It's like, imagine the Doctor was like, yeah, we'll try again, and then like they two are like, watching themselves, watch Pete Tyler die, and Rose runs out, and like the two of them just bump into each other. Oh, my head, sorry. Oh, Jesus. And then they both disappear, and Pete Tyler gets run over anyway. It's like, can I try again? And they keep doing this over and over again, and they spend the rest of their lives doing that, and the Doctor's like, oh, for fuck's sake, man. For fuck's sake. I fancy you, but I don't fancy you that much, Rose.
Come on, Rose, stop fucking up the timeline. Jesus. There are a couple of weird dialogue-y things in these Russell T Davies episodes.
Yeah.
I noticed it first and foremost when I was watching Dalek with Chloe, and she said the dialogue in this is terrible, and I was like, well, yeah, it kind of is. There were bits and bobs of sort of military people saying things, which was not great. There were other bits which are good. Don't get me wrong. Normal people having normal conversations, that's something that's done well. But sort of almost the military jargon in that episode was particularly bad. But in this episode, there are strange things like when he's about to crash that car, and Rose goes, "Dad, stop the car," sort of thing. Why would she call him Dad? I know that he is her dad, obviously, but you've known him for like 20 minutes. Do you know what I mean? It's not the kind of... You wouldn't shout Dad. Do you know what I mean?
I mean, but she doesn't have any other association, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, but I can't escape the feeling that she'd shout stop or look out or something else instead. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't think it I think it does make sense. I don't know. Someone's
But
just
one
came
thing
in.
I would like to say is that at the my personal favourite strange conflict in this episode is the father and son, where the father is literally stood in the church on the phone saying, "Yeah, well, he's knocked her up, so he's gonna have to marry her." That's my favourite conversation in this episode.
Yeah.
Because it's insane. On the wedding day, at the altar, is not the place to have that. Just watching it, I just got furious at that man for no real reason. It was very strange.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Do you know my favourite line in the entire episode is when they're having an argument in Pete's flat, and Rose says, "I know how sad you are." That's I really felt that. It's not a setup to like a joke, but it's like,
Right.
holy shit! It's like, you fucked up, and the Doctor's like, "Why did you do that?" Well, he called her a stupid ape, but
Right.
but then she like completely plays on the fact that his planet was just fucking genocided. She's like, "I know how sad you are. You won't leave me." And Christopher Eccleston's face is like a baby getting slapped. It's like, oh God, what?
It was a really horrible thing of her to say, really.
Yeah, I don't like it when they fight.
Yeah, that was the thing. I remember after watching Captain America: Civil War, I was like, oh yeah, I really enjoyed that, but also they were all fighting.
Yeah,
That's a shame. I don't like that they're fighting.
No, I've got to say, see the Watson, "Come here, I need you" line.
Mm-hmm.
That really scared me as a child.
Really?
I don't know why, but every time I heard it, I was like, I think it's because it was so random and so strange that it had no explanation until Christopher Eccleston said, "Oh yeah, it's the first phone call." I was like, what the fuck is that? I had like dreams about it and like just hearing it over and over again. I'm actually being serious. It really scared me as a child. I've got another thing I need to say. So basically, what this episode is saying is the reason that Mickey continues to be utterly emotionally brutalised by Rose and seems to continue to just put up with it is because Rose has imprinted herself on Mickey like a mother hen, and subconsciously Mickey all these years likes Rose because he's basically known her for that entire amount of time, which is fucked.
Horrifying is what it is. Yeah.
Holy shit.
I like. They have no regard for Mickey as
No!
a character in any way. They sort of just joke.
Oh, no,
about
they
it.
do.
They could just imprint myself on Mickey as a mother hen.
Oh no, they have. They have regard for him, but it's the worst regard you could possibly imagine.
They have deep-seated hatred for Ricky.
Yeah.
Mickey.
Fuck's sake, Lewis!
There's two of them!
No, yes, not now. It's it's Mickey, and then when they go to when they go to Pete's World, it's Ricky who gets zapped. So it's like we can't kill Mickey. Let's invent another one and we'll kill him instead.
The thing about that is, like, Mickey and Ricky implies that they're called Michael and Richard, which those two names are not similar, but Mickey and Ricky are very similar. So the joke is entirely Mickey is the kind of person who's like, oh yeah, I don't like Michael. That's my dad's name. Hey, call me Mickey. Hey. The entire joke is that Mickey's a lad.
I don't know if is it a joke.
I don't know. Maybe
we'll get there. We
will.
What was I going to say? Oh yeah, according to Wikipedia,
right.
The Reapers live in the time vortex, and they just sort of just go around looking for time paradoxes, and then just sort of go in and feast. So anyone looking for a wee explanation on what they are? I like the fact that they're almost like the sort of science-y fiction version of like death in this. It's like, because it is just about sort of accepting one's fate, and you know, it's almost like a Greek tragedy. Like the more you try and outrun it, that's how you end up getting to it, and they're sort of like the manifestation of death. I mean, they're called the fucking Reapers, for God's sake. So I think it's a sort of nice. I think the themes are very strong, not with just the villain, but with what's going on in the episode as well.
You're right. It's one thing I do have a question of is who decides the I'm doing air quotes on a podcast for the millionth time, but the proper history. Who decides that? Because I understand that the Reapers are sort of this animalistic thing. They just feed off time paradox energy or whatever.
Yeah.
But Pete's life isn't inherently a paradox. Well, I suppose the paradox is the sort of causal... I think the word is a causal nexus, which is just a... I hate saying words like that because it just makes people go, oh, for fuck's sake, Lewis, shut up. But, like, the term causal nexus, it's like Rose went back because her dad was dead, and as a result of that, her dad is alive.
Yeah.
So her dad is both alive and dead. So that's the paradox, I suppose. But who's to decide what the proper timeline is?
Yeah, I mean, there are laws of time that they said that sort of...
Yeah.
They're still sort of in place, I guess. But there's just no one...
Then,
but if someone breaks them, there's no one really there to just enforce them, I guess.
But then I suppose, like, say I'm a time traveler in the TARDIS or whatever. If I go back in time and I travel back to, I don't know, prehistory on Smargleflorp, the planet,
Yeah.
and I accidentally tread on a frog or something,
Yeah.
I'm not deliberately killing that frog
No.
because I hate that frog and I'm traveling back in time. Or I'm not deliberately... To get closer to this episode, I'm not deliberately trying to save that frog because I love it and it's my father. So, would that be a paradox? Or would that just be a
Yeah.
turn of events?
Well, no,
Would the Reapers feast on the frog death energy?
I mean, it definitely would, because it's a paradox in itself. You know, if you go back in time to change the event, and then the events get changed, then up to the future, you've never wanted to do that because because you've had no need to anymore because it's been changed. So that's a paradox right there. And they mention that when Clara's boyfriend in season 8, Danny, gets killed by a car. So it's like,
I didn't like Danny
when,
Pink very
when
much, you know.
exactly do these things sort of come into place? It's like, yeah, the laws of time are a thing, but they can be bent when our companion needs a bit of characterization. So I don't know. They're very contrived, and I think that they're just sort of there to be. Yeah, they can just be used in a fun situation.
Yeah. Also, the Reapers in this episode, the Doctor says something like, "Oh yeah, they're here to sterilize the wound," or something like that, which implies it's like you've cut your finger and you're putting antiseptic whatever on it, and do you know what I mean? You'd only sterilize that finger or that hand or whatever, but the implication is they're wiping out the population of the Earth, or at least London. Wouldn't that just alter the timeline even further?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we're here to stop the paradox by killing the entire human race.
Yeah, exactly.
What? And they don't even kill them. I don't know what they do to them. Do they wipe them out from time or something like that? Because, well, everyone can still remember them, so I don't think it's that. But maybe
it is sort of like you do hear those sort of gruesome noises. It's like when you see nature documentaries of a lion eating an antelope or something. It's that kind of noises.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe
it's just look, there's a paradox there. That world's fucked. Let's go eat everyone. Maybe it's like that. Because
maybe.
On the one hand, sterilizing makes it sound as if they're like creatures of just we're sort of made to do this to fix timelines and stuff like that. But they don't fix timelines. Clearly, they seem to be opportunistic sort of beasts.
They're just sort of feasting on stuff.
Yeah, like after like a lion has been cut open or something like that. They're like hyenas feasting on the carcass or something like that. Which makes much more sense. I think that's why.
That does make more sense. You're right.
So sterilizing the wound is a bit of a weird line to say, because that makes them sound as if they're doing this to help rather than, just we're hungry and we want to feast on paradox energy or whatever.
I have to say they are much scarier than I remember them being. The
Yeah.
Reapers. I remember them being just big sort of bat things when I watched this for the first time. But they're actually dead scary.
Yeah.
There's something about their appearance, how they don't really have even a vaguely humanoid or animal-esque appearance relative to sort of our sphere of reference. They have sort of a head, but then their mouth is sort of on their torso.
Yeah.
They've got these wings, but the wings they also have sort of claws, and they are a sort of a grotesque creature
It's
in
horrible.
a funny way.
Yeah. Apparently, it's the Reapers that deactivated the TARDIS. Apparently, they have the ability to do that to sort of stop people escaping.
I suppose that kind of makes sense if they're sort of time vortex enabled or some shit.
So they just yeet the Doctor's TARDIS. They just go ha yeet, and then it's gone.
Because I suppose it'd make more sense. Because that's one of the lines in Doctor Who that I've thought about the most. Is you said your people became what they did due to exposure to the time vortex. And the implication of that is that that's why the Time Lords can regenerate. I mean, disavowing the whole timeless child and all that bollocks, disavowing that for a second,
Yeah.
it becomes like, okay, well, is the TARDIS literally just a machine that due to exposure to the time vortex, it becomes alive? Or is it imbued with life and it's grown, as they talk about in the show, but that life is then enhanced by exposure to the time vortex, and that's why it can travel in time. Or
Well,
so the point I'm trying to make, I suppose, is not do the Reapers destroy the TARDIS? Is it just that the Reapers sever the connection between the blue box that lands in the real world
and the dimension,
and the extra dimensional
yeah,
inside of the TARDIS? Yeah.
well, I mean, it's implied multiple times that the TARDISes aren't built; they're grown. So, like, they are definitely alive. And there's a deleted scene from the end of season 4 where the Doctor sort of gives the Metacrisis Doctor and Rose a TARDIS egg.
What?
Just to sort of say, oh yeah, you travel the universe as well, because this universe needs a Doctor and a Rose. So he just sort of gives them a TARDIS egg that's like,
Where do you get the TARDIS egg from?
I
Is
don't-
the TARDIS laying eggs?
I don't know. So he's like,
What?
oh, the last TARDIS in the universe, kaput. Oh wait, I've got an egg downstairs. So it's like, yeah, you'd think that would. That's what I think. That's why it's a deleted scene, because it's a bit of a fucking ex machina.
Yeah.
But Russell T Davies said that
sorry,
he
TARDIS
likes.
egg. That's insane. I can't stop thinking about that. Bloody hell! Sorry, go on.
He said, Russell T Davies said he in his head that's how the ending happened, because he wants them to have like a TARDIS. Which, yeah, it makes sense, but like, come on, a fucking egg. That he had an egg this entire time.
I remember reading when I was younger that the design of this TARDIS we've got now, and David Tennant's TARDIS, that sort of coral, the pillars, they sort of look like coral or rock or something.
Yeah.
I remember talking about how they wanted it to look alive, but also like a machine, and they were like, well, how can we do these? How can we smash those two worlds together? And they went with this coral idea of like, well, yeah, coral is alive, but then it kind of becomes a rock within its life cycle. So I like that idea that they are grown like a crystal rather than grown like a chicken from an egg. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. And then they sort of do away with that with Matt Smith and Peter Capaldi's TARDIS. And they've sort of returned to it a wee bit with 13's TARDIS.
Yeah, which I like very much.
I think it's a
have to
very
say.
cool TARDIS. I will say that. It's pretty
I think
cool.
my favourite TARDIS design is probably the Matt Smith one with all the copper and the wood. I think just because I enjoy those sort of warm colours in a TARDIS.
Yeah.
It makes the TARDIS feel not loving, but like
Homely.
when he's talking to it, it makes it feel like a home. It makes it feel like, yes, you are allowed to be inside this being. Do you know? Because they lent into the sentience of the TARDIS in a strange way.
My favourite is Capaldi's one.
Which one?
What do you mean?
Because he started out without the bookcases, and then he got the bookcases eventually.
Well, no. What happened is that for some weird fucking reason, the second part of season 7 completely did away with Matt's old TARDIS, and then gave him this sort of Capaldi one, but without the bookcases and shit. I don't understand why. Capaldi has had the shittest run for like Doctor Who stuff out of all of them. He didn't get a screwdriver until the end of fucking season 9.
And then the screwdriver was a bit crap.
Yeah, but for the whole of season 9, it was like, oh yeah, I'm using wearable technology, and he had sonic
fuck,
fucking
I hated
glasses.
that.
Yeah,
Oh god.
and so it wasn't even his TARDIS. It was just fucking Matt Smith's new TARDIS with fucking what do you call it? Fucking bookcases.
I liked the bookcases. I liked that very much.
So
and I
did
liked
I.
the aesthetic of the sort of... It's like concentric hexagons or concentric octagons or whatever
Yeah.
it was. I liked that. That was very cool. I didn't like how dark it was, but I think that's just a personal preference, me thing. We've talked on the podcast before about how with you say that music influences your mood very, very much.
Yeah.
Like, you'll listen to a sad song and immediately for the rest of the day you're just like, oh, I'm sad now.
Yeah.
But like with me, it's the light in a room. If I'm in a room that's at all dark, I will just be sad and unproductive, and I won't do anything. And then, like, there are times in the day where it's right, I'm going to go and sit in the bedroom for a bit because the walls are painted white and there's a big window, so it's just it's always bright in there.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, right, now I'm ready to go do the rest of the day again. So I think that's one of the reasons I like the Matt Smith copper TARDIS, is that it is very bright.
Yeah.
It's very light. It's big, it's spacious as well.
I mean, it suited Capaldi very well, because he was a sort of darker sort of incarnation of the Doctor that they went with for season 8, completely disregarded in season 9, and forgot all about it in season 10. So the whole "Am I a good man?" arc kind of thing, it was like, oh, that's interesting. Is the Doctor going to be a bad guy? Is he going to do some questionably moral things?
Yeah,
that'd be interesting.
Arc, which they just ignored immediately.
Yeah, but we'll get to that. That's our catchphrase.
Yeah, it certainly is. It's oh Lord,
Yeah.
I do enjoy this. I do enjoy the Doctor being a bit darker, and I think Christopher Eccleston, he sort of treads those boards in a very light way.
Very much so.
He tends towards sort of like you get the impression he could do terrible things.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely.
Great things, but terrible things.
What's that?
That's Ollivander.
Oh
from Harry
shit!
Potter.
So it is. That's
The
right.
sister wand to that wand made that scar, and Lord Voldemort did terrible things. Great, but terrible. And Harry's just there like, he killed my parents, right, dickhead?
But of course he is lying.
But of course he's lying. Oh, I love that. That's so good.
God. I think I'm out of notes.
Yeah, I think I'm out of notes too. Do you want to start talking about Harry Potter?
Yeah! Do you have a closing statement?
I do. A really horrible story about inevitability and the power-responsibility dichotomy. No rush to rewatch, but I enjoyed the sci-fi questions it asked very much.
Yes.
Because it is a bit Spider-Man, this, isn't it?
It is a little bit.
If the Doctor turned around to Rose and said, like, remember, Rose, with great power comes great responsibility.
With great
then she'd
power.
be like, oh yeah, I suppose so.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. I suppose I have to watch out for that, really. I've got great power now.
Sound like fucking. What's his name? He wears all black all the time. He's got long hair. He's
Darth
in
Vader.
What?
Darth Vader.
No, he's in the IT crowd.
What? Oh, Noel Fielding.
Yes, no Fielding.
What? My contact's gone behind my eye. I need to blink it round. Come on.
At the funeral, it's like, listen to this. It's a screaming devil. It sounds horrible, but it's actually quite beautiful.
Oh God, yeah. Coffin fodder.
Oh yes,
toxic
something like that.
coffin fodder.
Yeah, I didn't know what the name was. Could you tell?
The thing that gets me about the IT crowd is you go back and rewatch it and you're like, oh, this episode's quite good and it's quite funny and these characters are quite interesting. And then there's an episode that Graham Linehan had an aggressive hand in and you're like, this is just kind of offensive. Really.
Yikes!
You're like, yikes! Yeah.
Oh!
There's that episode where they talk about how Jen has her period and then they just say vaguely offensive things about it for the entire episode.
Yeah.
And I remember I was watching it thinking, oh yeah, this other episode's funny, and then watched this and thought, Jesus, Graham Linehan. Sort yourself out, man. Bloody hell.
Yeah, it's. I don't like Graham Linehan. It's the jokes that sort of, like when there's fire behind a sort of cardboard cutout and
Oh God, yeah.
and Dennis Renham says, "Nice screensaver." That's really
yeah.
funny. I think that's the kind of stuff I like. But
Yeah, I agree with you. That's like, I think those types of jokes are what you have to rewatch sitcoms for.
Yeah.
Things like in Friends, there's the things you remember, like we were on a break and all that sort of nonsense.
yeah,
But then there are also just sort of stupid jokes that make it worth rewatching.
yeah,
Like Joey building that cabinet and almost killing Chandler with the drill, and you know what I mean. Those are the things you have to rewatch for. But no, I don't like Graham Linehan either for
no,
very obvious reasons.
for very
if you're aware of
obvious reasons.
His stances on a number of things.
Yep. We don't need to go into that.
No, we don't. We've had an alright episode. Let's not go into
Yeah. For I'm doing my closing statement now. A tragic episode with fantastic writing and performances. Very moving.
Indeed.
Very moving. Okay, so
That sounded like you were pretending to know what emotions were. I was very moved by this episode of Doctor Who. I thought it made me, look at the smudged writing on your hand, sad.
Sad. That's what it says. Sorry, smudged. Sad. I feel sad. But anyway, that was a Father's Day. Did you enjoy it? was depressing as fuck, but did you enjoy it?
Yeah. We're going to leave some time for you to reply now. So hang on,
Yep.
hang on, Dan. Just give it 10 seconds. Did you enjoy this episode?
I thought not. I mean,
This podcast is terrible. You shouldn't be listening. It's not funny. It's not interesting.
no, it's reductive in many ways. No, right. Should we do some shameless shilling?
Let's do as much shilling as we can cope with.
Okay, I'm on Instagram at O'Hiram. I'm on Facebook
Hey.
at Daniel K Actor. I'm on Twitter
Hey.
at Kerzo2000. What are you on,
Hey.
Lewis?
I'm on Instagram at Lewis_Brindley. I have a
Hey.
Twitter, which is at LewisBrindley4.
Hey.
And I have a Facebook page called Lewis Brindley.
We are on Podomatic, we're on Spotify, we're on Apple Podcasts, we have a YouTube channel, we're on Deezer, we're on Google Podcasts, we may or may not be on Amazon Podcasts, but fuck Amazon anyway. We have a PayPal donate button, we have a Patreon, and I'm going to slow down now because I want to thank our wonderful, wonderful patrons, Chloe,
Indeed. Thank you.
Darius,
Thank you.
Sophie,
Thank you.
Peter,
Thank you.
Aditya,
Thank you.
and Richard.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, you make the podcast possible. It means the absolute world to have your support on Patreon, and we have the nice little community on Discord. So thank you very, very much.
Absolutely. We also have merch. We sell mugs, t-shirts, tote bags, jumpers, socks, a plethora of useless junk that you might need one day in your life. And you'll find them on Teespring
Check that out.
and Redbubble. So go check it out.
Yeah, the links will be in the description or all over the shop. They'll be wherever. You'll find them. I've got faith in you.
Yes. And last, but certainly not least, we are partnered with a fantastic company called Number 12 Crochet Avenue. Lewis, it's all yours.
Number 12 Crochet Avenue is a business run by my amazing wife where she crochets an awful lot of things. I'm holding something in my hands now that she crocheted for me because I specifically requested it. It is a pen holder that I do a lot of writing with pens that have caps. It annoys me having to hold on to the cap. I needed something that would hold the pen and the cap. She made that for me. It is superb. She does amazing things, custom orders, non-custom orders. She's brilliant. The Instagram is at Number 12 Crochet Avenue. It's all words, no numbers, no punctuation. Go and check it out.
Definitely, please do. Please do. Well, that's us.
That is indeed us. Next week we'll be talking about the next cheery episode of this series.
The
which is, of
Empty
course,
Child.
The Empty Child, which is about children dying in the Blitz in World War II.
Yep.
We're talking about that laugh-a-minute episode.
And it's by Lewis's favourite writer of all time, Stephen Moffat.
Oh, I love him. All of his work.
Yep.
Fucking brilliant. Can't wait
Flawless.
to get into that.
Flawless.
Nonsense. Bloody hell. Flawless.
Yeah. Which is, it's ironic because the episodes are actually quite good. But it's almost as if he's really good at one-offs, but doing an entire season is a fucking disaster. But
Yes, it is almost like that. That's true.
we'll get to that. But yeah, thank you so much for listening. We will hear you, smell you, take you back to see your dead relative next week.
Yes, we'll see you later. Thank you very much for listening. Tune in next week.
What? Up here.